You've probably seen them on the shelves of supermarkets and all over online stores. Fruit and Vegetable Wash.
Several viewers have written into Talking Point asking us to investigate if these really work. So in this episode, I'm looking into your requests and finding out what's in these bottles and do we really need them?
Driven by a growing appetite to eat clean produce, the demand for fruit and vegetable wash is expected to double, hitting 400 million Singapore dollars in global sales by 2027.
What do fruit and veggie washes claim to do? Everything.
They claim to do a better job than water in washing away impurities, remove wax, and reduce bacteria. With prices ranging from $5 for basic and standard ones to some hitting close to $50, which claim to not just wash your fruits and vegetables but also clean your bathroom floors, wash your car, and showering your pets. But to know if I really do need these washes, I must first find out how dirty our fruits and vegetables are. So, I'm bringing these to an expert on germs and bacteria. These are produce that's usually on my grocery list. Leafy vegetables, broccoli, apples, and tomatoes. I'm meeting a food and microbiology scientist who knows where and how all the icky stuff gets on our fruits and vegetables and where they're really hiding. So I bought all these fruits and vegetables from the supermarket, but some of them look pretty clean, like the apple, for example. Yeah. But are my eyes deceiving me?
Yes, definitely. They look clean, but if they are contaminated by microorganisms, you can't see them. Some of the key touch points of microorganisms. Firstly, the irrigation's water. Water may be contaminated with microorganisms. Secondly, the soil. Vegetables touch the soil that may have microorganisms that may contaminate them. Thirdly, the environment. Okay, there's air pollutions, microorganisms in the air. Like broccoli here and spinach or parsley has a higher chance of contaminations from the soil bacteria as well as irrigation's water. For fruits, as you see, they are usually fruits hanging on a branch, so it has a lesser chance of contaminations from the soil. So it has more chance of contaminations by the air, environmental microorganisms. Fourth one will be your transport. Containers and vehicles before they even reach your supermarket at the retail store. At the retail store, the packer, the person who actually placed the fruits and vegetables on the shelf, as well as consumers may actually touch them. And that have another elements of touch point contamination. Because we have skin bacteria like Staphylococcus aureus. We call it Staph aureus in short, and these are the bacteria that may also have some harmful effect if they are pathogenic strain. Potential cross-contamination can also happen when you actually store different fruits and vegetables together. It may actually contaminate from one surface to another surface.
So some of the fruits that I buy, they already come in some sort of packaging. Are those cleaner?
Those that actually pack in plastic pouches or boxes, they actually have one less touch point contamination. That is the human touch point, but there's still possible contaminations from the environment, from the water, from the air, and from the soil.
And how about organic ones? Are they cleaner?
Organic one, they're supposed to be cleaner because of the environments to grow them, but we cannot avoid any contaminants from the air, okay, and from the water, okay, that may contaminate them still. So yeah, organic doesn't mean that it will definitely be cleaner because it's all natural still. Anything that's natural will have the risk of natural contaminants.
Sometimes with fruits like apples or grapes or ones in packaging, I would eat them without washing. I I really need to think twice about my habits.
I haven't fallen sick from eating unwashed fruits, but are there health problems waiting to happen? I better find out.
I'm meeting Dr. Lo Su Chun,
Hi Mona, hi, let's come to my office.
specialist in intestinal health, to find out what really happens when we end up eating produce contaminated with microorganisms like bacteria.
What are some of the bacteria found on our fruits and vegetables that can be harmful to us?
So the three common bacteria that we always mention are E. coli, Listeria and Salmonella. We ought to be very careful with what we eat, and we ought to really wash our fruits and vegetables.
And how are they harmful to us?
Salmonella, generally it can cause diarrhea and vomiting, but for the more invasive type, it can actually cause other conditions as well, such as infection in the urine, in the bone, in the joint, and in the central nervous system. Majority of E. coli are actually not bad E. coli. In fact, lower part of our intestine have a lot of E. coli. In our stomach can get rid of maybe small amount of bacteria that we have ingested. But there is a particular strain of bad E. coli called O157, which not only can cause gastroenteritis, but can actually cause other conditions because it actually goes into our bloodstream and damage our blood cells and damage our small blood vessels in the kidney, causing kidney failure as well as anemia. Listeria, on the other hand, can be actually very harmful to pregnant women because it crosses the placenta and put fetus at very high risk.
Now that I know how dangerous it is to eat fruits and vegetables contaminated with harmful bacteria, I want to know if I need a fruit and vegetable wash. Or would good old tap water suffice in removing all the icky stuff? Time for another talking point test. I want to find out what's on my fruits and vegetables before and after I clean them with these. I've picked 11 different fruit and veggie washes to test, with a mix of widely available ones to organic ones and also multi-purpose cleansers. Following the steps indicated on their labels, I will be washing some spinach with each of them. I'm actually really excited to try this. I've picked spinach because they're high on the list of some of the most notoriously contaminated fruits and vegetables. Needs a little bit more rinse, I think. As a control, I'm also washing another batch of spinach simply with water. These samples will be sent to a lab to be tested for Enterobacteriaceae, a large family of microorganisms including Salmonella and E. coli, some of which can be found in wastewater and soil. My results will be out in 2 weeks. I've sent 12 samples of spinach to the lab to test for Enterobacteriaceae. They are each washed with a different fruit and veggie wash, and one washed with just water. While I wait for the results,
You know, there are some fruits where you just prefer it without the skin, right? Like plums. I prefer my plums without the skin. And I don't see the need to wash it if I'm already peeling off the skin, right?
dietitian Wong Hui Sin has got a surprise for me. I eat some of my fruits without washing them because I peel them. Is that okay?
It's not okay because even if you are peeling off your fruits, there are still risks if you don't wash them. And there are plenty of microorganisms actually on the surface of the fruits. When you peel or cut into the thick skin of the fruits, the bacteria actually can transfer from the skins into the flesh. Let me show you. When the knife touches the skin of the fruits and after that cut into the flesh itself, the bacteria also can transfer back into the flesh as well.
But I've never actually gotten sick from peeling without washing though.
Probably you are very strong and healthy, or the produce itself might not have been contaminated with high levels of harmful bacteria. But if, let's say, your immunity is low, you're probably prone to having those foodborne illnesses caused by these bacteria, especially for kids below 5 years old, adults above 65 years, as well as those who have existing chronic conditions.
Well, we often hear that high heat kills all bacteria. So does cooking kill all the bacteria found on my vegetables?
Cooking kills most of the bacteria, but not all. So some bacteria might not be killed during the cooking process. Vegetables like lettuce as well as tomatoes may contain heat-resistant bacteria such as Salmonella and E. coli. To kill off these bacteria, it will require cooking at a temperature of 65 degrees to 70 degrees Celsius.
Is it common for us to cook at such temperatures?
Sometimes we do not cook the vegetables at such high temperature to preserve its crunchiness, and a lot of times when the vegetable is overcooked, we end up actually losing the vitamins and nutrients. Some vegetables like broccoli, spinach, they might end up losing 50% of its vitamin C if it's cooked at such high temperature.
Oh, so in general, if I'm cooking the fruit or the vegetable, I still need to wash them?
Yes, you still need to wash it because fruits and vegetables actually can have a lot of microorganisms on its surface. By washing it, it will actually reduce the microorganisms.
Washing is a safety net for fruits and vegetables, whether you're going to eat it with or without skin, or regardless of whether you're going to cook it or not. You may not have fallen ill from eating unwashed produce today, but on a bad day, you never know. This makes me all the more curious about my test results. How effective are all these different fruit and veggie wash in reducing microbial loads on our produce, compared to just water? After 14 days, my test results are out. So what is found before and after washing?
All the produce washers perform relatively similar. Similarly, they do the same job in killing off the bacteria.
Is there a difference between the effectiveness, so whether it's organic or not organic, or whether it's the cheapest brand or most expensive brand?
For what we tested, there is not a significant difference. This is the Enterobacteriaceae count chart.
A low Enterobacteriaceae count would mean a lower chance of harmful bacteria present and is a good hygiene indicator for our fruits and vegetables. Out of the 11 samples tested, 2 commercial washers reduced Enterobacteriaceae by 70%. About half reduced it by 20 to 40%. The rest were not so effective. But when it comes to plain old water, the results stood out. The spinach washed with water outperformed the commercial washers, reducing over 85% of Enterobacteriaceae. When I was using some of the produce wash, it got quite soapy for me. So did you find any residue of the produce wash on the samples?
We did not find any residues from commercial produce washers that you use. Commercial produce washers use primarily food preservatives like potassium sorbate, benzoate, and acids. These acids are natural acids like citric acid, lactic acid. So in low amounts, it's actually pretty safe to consume.
So what are the common ingredients in a fruit and veggie wash?
So what's commonly found in your household ingredients? So there's sodium bicarbonate, which is baking soda. You have lemon extract, which can produce citric acid that is commonly found in most produce washers. You also have a high percentage of water.
Oh, so it's things I can find at home, meaning I can make it on my own?
Technically, you can say so. It's something you can make at home, especially with all the ingredients being readily available.
Then do we actually need the fruit and veggie wash?
From what we can tell from here, right? Washing with just water will work fine, but if you want to be safer, you can wash with your household washers. Just that there might be slight taste difference. For example, if you wash with salt, if you never rinse well enough, or if you soak for too long, then it might get salty or it might get too soft.
Can I really make my own fruit and vegetable wash? Out of the 11 washes I've tested, most contain water, citric extracts such as lemon, and sodium chloride or sodium citrates, a form of salt. 2 of them contain baking soda. Salt, baking soda, and lemons. Ingredients that I can find at home. Which leaves me one last thing to investigate. Whether homemade washes work. Look out for my very own Muna's Fruit and Veggie Wash. I've learned that fruit and vegetable wash contain household ingredients like salt and lemon. I've never used any of these before. In fact, does anyone really use salt and lemon to wash their produce? Let's find out. How do you wash your fruits and vegetables?
I just soak it in the water and put a little bit salt.
I use salt as a basic ingredient to wash whatever food or fruit that I cook.
I use the salt.
Or you can use lemon.
I use baking soda, salt, or like lemon.
A little bit with like warm water. I'll just use vinegar.
Why do you do that actually?
I don't know, my mom told me.
I learned from my mom.
My wife's use baking soda.
And you do think that it does better than just washing it underwater?
I think so.
I hope they kill some germs.
Use bacteria, right?
You do see like those little disgusting things that comes out from the fruits after that.
At less than 20% the average price of fruit and veggie wash, I got some salt, baking soda, and lemon, each with similar properties as ingredients found in commercial fruit and vegetable wash. So, I'm going to make my own cleansers to find out if these are viable alternatives. So there are so many recipes that I've found online, but they're all telling me different things. Some say 2 tablespoons of salt, some say 3 tablespoons, some say 1 part lemon and 3 part water, some say 4 part water, stir to combine or shake it. There's just so many instructions, so I'm just gonna try it myself. I will wash my spinach just as before, but now with 3 mixes of my own.
This is too much.
Water with baking soda. Water with salt. And water with lemon. I'm sending my washed vegetable samples back to the lab. I want to find out if homemade washes can do better than commercial washes and tap water. Alright, how did my homemade washes do?
So do you want to guess which of your homemade washes did better?
I want to say the lemon one did the best, just because I see lemon being used in cleaning products.
It did quite well actually, yeah.
But is it the best?
It's not the best, unfortunately.
Oh, alright, show me.
From this chart, we can see that generally, some of the homemade washes did better than some of the commercial washes. Yes.
So which one did the best then?
You can say that salt did the best, number 14. Yes.
Salt and then lemon.
Salt and then the baking soda.
Baking soda
Yes.
and then
the
lemon.
lemon, yes.
Salt, baking soda, and lemon outperformed half of the fruit and veggie washes, reducing Enterobacteriaceae by almost 50%. While I was making my homemade washes, I have to admit that I wasn't sure about how much to put in. So the consistency might be different each time I make something on my own, right?
Yeah, commercial produce washers have set volumes and they are consistently tested, so they should produce the same results no matter how many times you use it. But for your household washers, it might differ depending on how much you add, how long you wash, or how you wash it, whether soaking, rinsing, or scrubbing. But even when using commercial produce washers, you will have to use a lot of water before, during, and after to allow the commercial produce wash to take effect, and also to rinse off all the residue from the commercial produce wash. So definitely plays a factor in whether you want to use a household wash or a produce wash.
How do the homemade washes compare to washing with just water?
The comparison between water and homemade washes, for enterobacteriaceae in homemade washes didn't do better, but the difference is somewhat insignificant. So my personal preference, I think just using water will be fine and more efficient.
There's a science behind the humble DIY wash. Lemon and baking soda can damage bacteria cells by penetrating the cell walls and rupturing them. Salt, when mixed with water, creates an environment around bacteria cells, which causes water from the cells to move out, drying them and killing the bacteria. Is fruit and veggie wash really needed? Well, my tests show that when it comes to making our fruits and vegetables cleaner and safer to eat, the difference between fruit and veggie wash, homemade washes, and tap water is not so significant. So I guess I'll stick to the good old tap water, and recommended by the Singapore Food Agency, 30 seconds rinse, 15 minutes soak, and then one final rinse. That's all there is to it.